taste. Interested parties or the representatives may also address the board by written communication. Thank you. I see we have one person who has signed to address the board, and that looks like Mr. Bill Phelps. Could you step forward, please, Mr. Phelps?
Yeah, I'm here. Time to address the board?
Yes.
You change these, you have to.
Well,
I noticed that a lot of tractor-trailer trucks seem to have been moving material out of the old Pfizer plant. Is there a conclusion that they have left? The companies that were in there, or?
well, I plan to address that in a few minutes,
Okay.
but we should not draw any conclusions at this point of anything. We're in discussion with one of the investors and the lawyer that represents ERS, Mr. Andrew Stalcott, brother, and that has been going very well. So I will address that in a few minutes, Mr. Phelps.
Item number 2, I purchased a house here, moved in February of 2021.
And your house is located where, sir?
91 Champlain Street.
Okay,
And both neighbors on either side do not drink the water. I don't drink the water. And now we appear to have silt in the toilet, in the bottom of the toilet on a regular basis. Now, I'm a retired plumber. Normally that happens when there's work being done on a water main or on a house entrance. But anyway, I'm at a loss. Now, I know from speaking to my neighbors that the New York State test report of the water is given out with the paper bills every, I think it's 3 times a year or 4 times a year. I don't have paper bills because I'm on auto pay, with deducted directly from my bank or whatever. So they don't send it with the utility bill. I'm wondering if there's an item
Are
maybe,
you sure it's not attached to it? It
No.
should be attached to it.
no, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't,
It is on the website too, though.
okay, so that's where I can find, that's all I need.
no, if you have that problem again,
Right.
you can call the office, and the office will
Perfect, yeah, I mean, I'm not-
send it to your email address, or as
Yeah,
Mr.
you already have-
Letourneau, the bookkeeper, said, you can go to our website and obtain that information also.
Perfect, that's all I've got, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's all we have signed up for the to address the board. I am now going to look for the minutes of June 6, 2022, regular meeting. The board members have been supplied with the minutes. I've been supplied with the minutes by the administrator. I've had a chance to review them. Does any trustee have any addition, subtraction, or any comment on those minutes?
I make a motion the minutes be accepted as printed.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Bills, Mr. Letourneau?
We have no additions or deletions tonight.
Okay.
I make a motion the bills be paid.
Second.
All those in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Mr. Latchmore, the administrator, do we have any correspondence?
Only a couple things this evening. Number one is Amy Brown at 53 Smith Street wanted to thank Adam Menard and his staff for doing a great job cutting down a tree for her. So she wanted me to say it, make a special thank you to Adam and the guys over at Public Works. Also, if the board can recall, I was trying to get a grant through the federal government through Elisa Phonic back in March, and I received correspondence back from Elisa Phonic's office, and unfortunately they indicated that we are not eligible to receive this grant at this time. It says, thank you for your submission of the FY 2023 community project funding through Congresswoman Elisa Fonick office on behalf of the Village of Rouses Point. And although we were unable to submit your project for funding at this time, our office will continue looking forward for other federal funding opportunities that might be able to assist with this project. Please feel free to contact me directly if you have any questions. So that was for our new water facility.
Anything else, Mr. Letchmore?
That's all I have.
Thank you. I'm gonna take a few minutes just to give the residents of the village an update. As you all know, on May 25th, myself and several people entered the Pfizer building at 64 Maple, and we discovered some unsafe conditions, and based on our entry into the building, we placarded the gate and turned off the power based on the unsafe conditions of that building. Subsequent to that, doing that, we've had multiple discussions. By we, I mean myself, the administrator, our legal attorney, Mr. Renane. I've also relied quite heavily on Mr. Letourneau, our bookkeeper, who has 34 years of experience in this village, and he's been able to find myself and the administrator valuable bits of information that we need to go forward and discuss some of these things with the representative from ERS. That would be Mr. Andrew Stalcup, and Mr. Stalcup has been very gracious and forthcoming with us in the last 10 days or so. I feel that our meetings have been very productive, and I think not all our problems are solved, but if we continue to have productive discussions like this, then it's going to be mutual benefit to both the Village of Rouses Point as well as to ERS. A matter of fact, today, our code officer, Mr. Cooper, and a representative from Commonwealth Electric, Mr. Scott Decker, was allowed to go into the building and discuss with Mr. Stalcup and a representative from S&L Electric some of the problems within the building. And my understanding from Mr. Decker, everything went very well. I also received an email from Mr. Stalcup indicating that he also believes the meeting was very productive. I think Mr. Stalcup now realizes that what we did on May 25th was not only beneficial to the Village of Rouses Point and its residents, but I think it was also beneficial to ERS. And I expect, based on the conversations that the administrator and myself have had with Mr. Stalcup, that he will either address the board indicating such, or send us some type of correspondence. So I look forward to that. Excuse me, I look forward to that. And I look forward to working with Mr. Stalcup to help him achieve his goals, as well as the village achieve our goals of having businesses coming within our boundaries that are within our scope of our zoning laws and our codes and our ordinances of our village. I feel very good that Mr. Stalcup now realizes that's the way to go, and we have very good and productive meetings, like I said, and I anticipate that to continue. And as I said to Mr. Stalcup, if it continues like this, in my capacity as the mayor, with the backing of the board, I will do everything that I can to help him in his business, in his property, flourish within the village, as long as it complies within our zoning laws, and he applies for all the proper permits and allows us access to the building when it is necessary. He has assured me that he will do that. I have no reason to doubt that he will not follow through with everything that I just stated, and based on that, I look forward to working with ERS today and in the future to make our village a better place to live. Thank you. Mr. Arnold, do you have anything you wanna add? As far as addressing the board for, anything you wanna bring up as far as new business?
Yeah, I'd like to have an executive session on personnel.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of the executive session?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we'll have an executive session. Trustee Menard, anything?
No.
Oh, you got something else?
Yes.
Okay.
Did, Mr. Lattimore, did you happen to talk to the water plant about the safety issue I talked to you about?
Can you refresh my memory?
On the hydrant, blowing the hydrant, the water across
Oh,
the road?
no, I have not been, I
Okay.
apologize, but I will address that.
All right, okay,
I apologize.
yeah. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Menard?
Just one thing, I would like to commend the Civic Center crew. They're doing a good job of keeping the village looking really nice. All the lawns look great, sides of the roads, fields in the back look great. I just wanna commend them for a good job, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Pelkey?
Yes. Reminder about the Stars and Stripes celebration on the lake this week. It starts Thursday night at 6:30 down at the stage. There's flyers that are in the village office that gives you the whole events for the whole week. It goes right till Sunday with our parade and our fireworks. There's a lot of vendors. As you can see, the carnival's out here. I think it's gonna be bigger and better. There's gonna be food trucks and beer gardens and all kinds of activities for the kids on Saturday. So just a reminder that this is our big weekend. We need to get out and support our little village here to have more people come to it. And second thing I have is I need an executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person.
I'll second.
All those in favor of having the executive session on personal issues?
Aye.
I
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We'll have an executive session on the personal issues in regards to one employee.
The last-
Trustee,
I have one more thing.
one more thing?
Okay, the last thing I have is, the water plant operators are out flushing hydrants, so that could be,
That could be the
that could be
silt.
stirring up your little silt problem. So they are flushing to make sure that they get their chlorine contact time, and they're doing all the testing that is supposed to be, all certified, so they're making sure they're doing the right thing.
Good.
So that might be your silt problem.
Thank you. Trustee Rodriguez?
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Mr. Cooper, do you have anything you want to add?
Just that the fact that we did go in the airs today, myself and Mr. Decker was with Commonwealth Electric, and we had a impromptu meeting in there for about 10 minutes and verified everything that you have said this evening. We're gonna work with them, they're gonna work with us. Hopefully we'll get things back online quickly as possible.
Thank you. Mr. Phelps, I would also, I have the ability to tell you limited information, but I can tell you that the operations that we discovered that were against our village code, those operations, I know for sure one of them is exited. I believe a second one, if it's not fully exited, it will be soon. So that's what you're seeing leave. Those businesses that or trucks you see leaving are carrying equipment that are against our village code. And they realize that, and they are leaving.
Thank you. If I may,
Yeah.
I saw a report on Channel 5 News about a week and a half ago that the state of New York is considering banning large-scale, what they refer to as Bitcoin mining and data processing in the entire state of New York. So I don't have any follow-up on that, but that could be the reason that they
Well,
pulled out.
those type of businesses have a place, but at this point, they don't have a place in Rouse's Point as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you. Great news.
Anyone else want to address the board? And I just want to say one other thing. The services that Mr. Decker has provided us has been invaluable. And he will continue to work with the village to make sure that everything is brought up to code and that we're able to turn the power on to a section or one of the buildings to allow ERS to go forward and to get a tenant or tenants into that building. I believe it's building 25, is that correct, Mr. Administrator?
That's correct.
And based on the cooperation that Mr. Stalcup has provided us, and to our code officer and to Mr. Decker, I think that's a feasible option right now. There's some work to be done, it's not gonna happen overnight, but we're working very hard in that direction. And that's the only thing I have left to say. Unless anybody else does, we're gonna go into executive session. I need the.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session, or recess.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We will go into executive session now.
Thank you, Ever.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, well, I figured
So I will get back.
it was actually really quiet last week, or the week before last. Standing room only. Every chair was full.